Does this landscape look familiar to you? Still guessing? Come on, it's Africa, the second largest continent, home to fascinating geological wonders and abundant natural resources. Whenever someone brings this continent into the conversation, we are reminded of the so-called Big Five animals consisting of elephants, rhinoceroses, leopards, African buffalo, and the intimidating pack of lions. We have no idea that Africa also has a group of aquatic species known as cichlids that shine brightly alongside these massive mammals. You heard it right, a famous aquarium species whose greatness can fit right into your aquarium. If you want to put this fish in your tank as much as I do, keep watching this video because I'll be showing you how to set up an African Cichlid tank for beginner aquarists. An African Cichlid tank is a good choice for a beginner and for those who like the color of saltwater fish. Having this kind of tank will offer a great balance between the ease of a freshwater tank and the vivid colors of a saltwater aquarium. If you aren't very familiar with cichlids, it's best to recognize these fish as secondary freshwater fish because their distant relatives originated from the ocean. This diverse group of freshwater fish from the biological family Cichlidae came from 3 lakes in Africa, namely Lake Malawi, Lake Tanganyika, and Lake Victoria. Before we get to the care requirements of an African Cichlid tank, let's first get to know more about the popular cichlids that are placed in African Cichlid tanks. Starting with the Lake Malawi cichlids. These cichlids are split into several species: Mbuna, haps, and peacocks. Mbuna are considered the most active and have aggressive behavior that is typically curbed by overstocking, frequent feeding, and not putting them in groups with similar coloring. Meanwhile, haps are moderately aggressive fish, with some haps being very large. They are piscivores, which means they prey on small fish. That's why it is not a good idea to house these fish with anything small enough for them to swallow. Among the two, peacocks are the most peaceful. They typically won't grow as fast as expected, end up less colorful, and may not live as long. But it is most suited for a community type of aquarium. Second on our list is the Lake Tanganyika cichlids. Like the previous cichlids, this one also consists of 3 groups, namely the lemon cichlids, which are small in size, have peaceful behavior, hardy, breed easily, and are easy to keep. The rock-dwelling cichlids like calvus, which are solitary hunters with slender, large jaws used to suck smaller prey out of crevices, and the frontosas, which were known for being kept alone in an African Cichlid tank, but have been known to be with large Tanganyika fish like calvus and compressiceps. The Lake Victoria cichlids are the last and most popular. These cichlids are, in general, naturally aggressive fish. Some can mix with Mbuna and peacock cichlids. Some of the most popular fish are Pundamilia nyerere, the zebra obliquidans, and the Kyoga flameback. But Lake Victoria cichlids lack secondary research from hobbyist works of literature, which makes them sometimes difficult to identify. Those were some of the most popular cichlids that you can add to your tank. However, the simple act of just adding it to make your aquarium look more amazing is not enough to maintain the cichlids' health and make them live longer. That's why we'll discuss the care requirements that an African Cichlid tank needs. But before that, make sure that you like this video, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell notification for your daily updates of aquarium-related topics. Caring for an African Cichlid tank begins with keeping the tank size in mind. A bigger and longer tank is ideal due to cichlids being mid or bottom level swimmers. A wide aquarium allows more water volume to make your tank stable and more room to curb aggression. That's why the minimum for most African cichlid species is going to be 55 gallons. In terms of the water requirements, you will notice that African cichlids appreciate a higher pH based on their original habitat. That's why they should be kept in water with a pH of 7.5 to 9.0, a water hardness of 10 to 20 DH, and a water temperature of 77 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Cichlid aquariums may be decorated with marine coral, sand, and rock, which will push the pH and buffer the water. Cichlid buffer additives, which are available in stores, or cichlid salts are another option. Filtration requirements should also be checked regularly. Cichlids are messy eaters and even messier excretors, which is why overfiltration and aeration are very important, since they will purposely overstock them to curb aggression among tank mates while providing them with oxygenated water. As a result, African cichlids necessitate dual filtration. Your goal is to have 8 to 10 times gallons per hour flow filtered per hour. So, for a 55-gallon tank, you are looking at a goal of 550 filtered gallons per hour from your filtration system. It's good if you have a Biomaster thermo or a Fluval, but you may still need to supplement flow with power heads to keep the flow strong in the tank. Rockwork is great to add to your tank because it can help push the pH and buffer the water. In choosing what rock to use for your African Cichlid tank, smoother types should be considered, as rough rock can hurt your African cichlids. You can use slate, limestone, and even ocean rock. For Mbunas and other rock-dwelling Africans, you will want to have rocks with lots of holes and crevices, like a Texas Holy Rock or Lava Rock. For haps and peacocks and other open swimmers, there should be more open water to mimic their environment. Substrate, substrate, substrate. All cichlid tanks should have a sand substrate in an African cichlid tank since it closely mimics their natural environment. It's also a very helpful tank requirement due to many cichlids using sand to cleanse their gills and feeding by grazing through the sand, while others dive into it or build nests. Within the aquarium industry, there are substrates available that will work with cichlids, particularly aragonite sand used in marine tanks and Tahitian moon sand. Like most of the other species out there, the African cichlid also requires a particular diet. Africans can cross all the food groups. That is why you must know which group your fish belongs to. Spirulina is generally good food for fish since it has outstanding nutritional quality and is made up of 65 to 70% protein. Supplemental foods for herbivore fish would be peas, romaine lettuce, and spinach. For carnivorous fish, brine shrimp, shrimp pellets, and krill would be good meat supplements. Fish that are yellow, orange, or red will need to be fed foods with lots of pigment to keep their colors optimal. The recommended time for eating would be 3 to 4 times a day, but only what they can eat within 20 seconds or less. Remember to feed frequently, but do not overfeed because a well-fed cichlid is a less aggressive cichlid. If you're still wondering what food can best fit for your aquarium cichlid, you can try out these staple cichlid foods. New Life Spectrum Cichlid Formula Pellets, the benchmark in the industry providing color-enhancing cichlid pellet food. Cobalt Aquatics Probiotic Enhanced Flake Food, the best flake food for African cichlids, which also works well in combination with New Life's pellet food. And the Hikari Cichlid XL Pellets, a specially formulated food for plant-eating African cichlids that focus on spirulina with vitamins and materials to provide a highly nutritious pellet. Going back to our tank care requirements, note that plants can also be added. There are a few things to keep in mind if you want to attempt to keep plants within African cichlids. First, not all plants will be able to tolerate the high pH of an African cichlid tank. Second, not every plant will be capable with the different types of African cichlids available. That being said, thick-leaved Anubia species and Java fern will work for virtually any African setup. The proper spectrum of light needs to be provided for plants. You will need lights that emit at a blue and red ends of the light spectrum. Regular water changes should also be remembered to keep nitrates below 50 ppm, and the use of bristlenose plecos will help with algae. And the final factor is dealing with the digging of cichlids. Plants can be uprooted with the digging activities, so plants need to be fastened to prevent uprooting. African cichlids are truly an incredible aquatic species to add to your tank. If you're now interested in purchasing one, you can get them at your local fish store. However, if local fish stores aren't accessible in your area, you can visit online shops like these on your screen. Reading is beneficial to both your mind and the health of your African cichlids. So if you're a book nerd, you can check out this wealth of resources and even books for you to enjoy and read. First, The Beginner's Guide to African Cichlids. This book will give you an overview of African cichlids and will assist you in getting started as a beginner hobbyist. Second is the oldie but goodie book titled The Cichlid Aquarium. In the same form as the Reef Aquarium, this is indeed timeless knowledge. And lastly, the Lake Mawali Cichlids Complete Pet Owner's Guide, a specialized book all about Lake Malawi cichlids. If you're looking for a Mbuna or peacock tank, this is a good place to start. You don't have to worry about its accessibility, because all these can be easily found on Amazon. African cichlids will remind you of the beauty that Africa emits. We hope you found this video to be extremely helpful in planning your African cichlid tank. See you on our next aquarium-related topic. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, and together, let's unveil the beauty of the fish keeping hobby. Thank you for watching.